Hello everybody, my name is Delson Gamer here, and welcome back to another reaction video. And today we are about to reacting to another Some Common Johnny. We got Mega Man 2, the hardest game ever I play in the collection. I literally beat it on normal, just shut up. But anywho, let's just start this and let's get right to it then, shall we?
Now that we're finally done with the Sonic Hacking Contest of this year, we can finally get back to Mega Man. But first, a little correction. Last review I stated that despite the first title in the series not selling very well, Capcom felt the need to produce a sequel to it anyway. In actuality, Capcom wanted to forget Mega Man and move on, but they allowed the producers of the first game to make a sequel, as long as they worked on other projects that Capcom had planned out at the same time. This resulted in Mega Man 2 being developed strictly under the free time that the developers had when they weren't spending time on other projects that Capcom wanted them to finish. If that isn't dedication, I don't know what is. Mega Man 2 took about 3 to 4 months to develop, so, as a sequel, does it improve upon anything that hindered the original release? I think the answer is pretty obvious at this point, but I can't assume that all of you know what Mega Man 2 is to begin with, so without further ado, let's pop this baby in and see what we got here. The cover is definitely an improvement over the last one, but was Capcom deliberately fucking with the artist responsible for creating the international box arts? Someone of this man's stature would not be taken seriously wearing something like that, and let's just move on.
Yeah,
I never did understand why Mega Man was standing on top of this large skyscraper when the title screen appears, but compared to the first game, which was just this boring, empty, generic press start screen, this is definitely an improvement. It even gives us a little backstory. Ever since his defeat in the first game, Dr. Wily has taken upon himself to create 8 evil robot masters of his own with the specific purpose of taking down Mega Man. So I guess Mega Man really did just leave Dr. Wily alone after wiping out his last line of defense. Mega Man, champion of justice, doesn't know how to call police. As Mega Man, it's up to you to take on all 8 robot masters and then give Wily another whomping with hopefully a much more logical conclusion at the end. Structurally speaking, Mega Man 2 is around the same as the first game. Jumping and shooting is the name of the game here. You collect the robot master's power to use at your leisure by defeating them, and you're free to choose any stage in any order you want. I'm sad to say that the point system from the first game has been omitted this time. You know, that thing I completely forgot to talk about last time? The point system, you know, allowing kids to compare high scores to see who had the most bragging right now? I guess it wasn't a big deal then. Anyway, after messing around a little bit, I think it's safe to say that Mega Man controls almost identically to how he did in the first game, but I'm not entirely sure on that. He doesn't feel as heavy as before, but he still sort of slips around a bit when coming to a stop. Now, despite the controls not being that different, the level design has seen a significant boost in quality in my honest opinion, so it really doesn't matter to me. There's noticeably less amount of bullshit here than it was in Mega Man 1. No cheap kills from disorganized platforming, no instances where I swear damage is inevitable due to bad enemy placement, and deaths via knockback are kept to a minimum. Although that still happens to me every once in a while. Seriously, that's one archaic design choice I'm glad time is forgotten about. Come on. For those that found the task of beating the original Mega Man in one sitting to be too frightening, you'll be glad to know that Mega Man 2 introduces a password system, so you can pick up where you left off in case you got other things to do during the day. I know nowadays it doesn't seem like a big deal, but you gotta remember, the late 80s, where games with battery backups were not only expensive, but exceedingly rare as well. Patience was something I stated that was required in order to survive the challenges that each level contained in the last game, and it still holds true in this game, but here it feels much more rewarding. Careful players can avoid a lot of shit thanks to the improved level structure, and I think that's how it should be. Levels also sport different routes that often contain goodies to collect if the player is skilled enough to reach them. The game encourages and rewards top-notch playing skills, while at the same time not punishing newbies for being bad at the game. Nah, E-Tanks, I love you so much. These are also something new to this game. E-Tanks allow Mega Man to fully restore his health in an emergency, and you can hold a total of 4 of them at a time. This makes encounters with Robot Masters a little more forgiving when trying to take them out with your Mega Buster, especially if it's the first Robot Master you selected. You lose any you have when you get a game over though, so watch out. Mega Man 2 definitely isn't as hard as the first title as a result of these changes, but if that wasn't enough, and assuming you're playing the North American release of the game, you're allowed to choose between 2 difficulty options, normal and difficult, with the latter being the original Japanese difficulty. Normal mode pretty much boosts the damage your Mega Buster does, making some enemy encounters and robot matches a complete non-issue. It also increases the drop rate of items that enemies can drop when defeated. To me, this is an excellent way to introduce newbies to the series. I always believe that it's not a good idea to scare away new players with a hard difficulty that you can't change, and that it should be up to the players to choose when they're ready for a greater challenge. Still, even in difficult mode, I still don't find this game to be that hard with a few exceptions, but there's no Yellow Devil here, so that's automatically a plus. With new Robot Masters brings new toys that Mega Man can play with once he gets a hold of them, and unlike the first game, almost all of these weapons are very useful and some are even multi-purpose. Sure, you can save Flashman's Time Stopper to make the battle with Quickman a little easier, but you can also use it to stop enemies in their place and make some platform challenges more comfortable. The Leaf Shield makes for a great defensive item, but you can also chuck the thing at enemies when you want to get a move on. Then there's weapons like the Quick Boomerang, which deals massive damage with a high ammo count, and of course, there's Metal Man's Metal Blades, which not only contains the most ammo I've ever seen a weapon have in a Mega Man game, it can also be fired in 8 directions, effectively replacing the Mega Buster. Mega Man can fire a metallic object in 8 directions, but not as Mega Buster. Most people like to go to Metal Man first because of the sheer effectiveness of this weapon, and honestly, I don't blame them. I usually like to go Flashman or Woodman first though, but that's just me. When you defeat certain stages, Mega Man also gains access to one of 3 new items that can help you overcome particularly tricky sections. They're not very creatively named though, seriously. Item 1, 2, and 3? That's so boring.
Yeah.
But they can be a great help. Disappearing blocks in Heat Man stage giving you trouble? Well, with item 2 that you score from beating Airman, you can completely ignore it. I don't understand why people claim Airman is so difficult. Just jump over his tornadoes, wait for him to jump to the other side, then Leaf Shield his ass. Booyah, done.
Dang.
Maybe it's an exaggeration, I don't know. Also, where's the Magnet Beam at?
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty nifty power-up from the last game, but they took it out for this game. It's a shame. Since the new weapons are so much fun to use this time around for me, I think it contributes a lot to the high replayability factor Mega Man 2 has going for it. There's many ways you can complete this game and reach Dr. Wily's Fortress, and even though it's still not a very long game, each playthrough can be equally as fun. The developers were apparently going for a more anime-esque look this time around when it came to the graphics and such, and whether or not they succeeded, I guess is up to interpretation. I will say that I think it's much better than Mega Man 1. The areas and colors are much more diversified, and enemy design shows a bit more character in conjunction with having more strategy to them. Do I even need to talk about the music here? It's one of the most popular NES soundtracks in video game history, and what many consider to be the best Mega Man soundtrack ever. The last bit is certainly debatable, but I won't deny this soundtrack is pretty damn amazing. I love almost every track this game offers, with the only 2 exceptions being Heat Man, whose theme I find rather dull, and Wily Fortress 3 and 4, which gets ear-grating after a while. I shouldn't even have to mention just how damn popular Wily Fortress 1's musical track is, but it really is an awesome theme, and one I think deserves its praise. I think it has just about as many remixes as the likes of Super Mario Bros. Overworld theme or Vampire Killer from Castlevania 1. You should give it a listen if you somehow managed to avoid the theme up until this point. Mega Man 2 may not contain nearly the amount of bullshit that Mega Man 1 had, but it still has its share of it. Spikes were notorious in Mega Man 1 as something that could instantly kill our Blue Bomber, but they were sporadically used in that game. In this game, it's Bubble Man's and Wily Fortress 3's specialty, and if so much as a pixel Mega Man touches it, bam, down 1 life.
Wow.
I'm not exactly what you would call a fan of the dragon that comes out of fucking nowhere at the end of Wily Fortress 1, and the sheer amount of sprite flickering that can disorient a player enough to fall into the massive bottomless pits that Mega Man hovers over during the fight. In fact, if there's one major technical hiccup Mega Man 2 suffers from, it's sprite flickering. Not only can it be visually distracting, it's just not pleasant to look at. I know the developers probably couldn't help it, but in the end, it's still an issue that can cause problems. The boss at the end of Wily Fortress 4 can be a real asshole too. Its only weakness is the crash bomb.
I hate Wily. I don't know what it is, but I hate this one. It is so annoying. It's the only crash bomber is his weakness. If you don't have it, you have to actually legit 2 choices. 1, get a game over, get your old stuff your back, or 2, just grind up, but it's annoying. Why? I hate it. I don't like it. But now, let's just actually see.
Which you only have 7 shots of with a full bar of ammo. Nothing else hurts these turrets. If you mess up a shot or use it too many times, guess what? You ain't beating this boss. And when you eventually die, you have to spend time to ground weapon energy to refill your crash bomber, or get a game over to refill everything at the expense of doing the stage over again. That's bad design. Yeah. This is the only time in the game where something like this can happen, mind you, but when it does occur, it's painful to go through, no matter what difficulty you choose. Mega Man 2 is the first Mega Man title to incorporate a room where you have...
It doesn't matter with difficulty because all the bosses, they have their own weakness. But except for those things, nope.
To refight all 8 Robot Masters to reach Dr. Wily. The first game had to rebattle them sporadically, but here it's a gauntlet. Nothing to be worried about though, since you have all the weapons necessary to make them. Metal Man is afraid of his own weapon? The hell?
What?
Huh. Well, the final battle with Dr. Wily is nowhere near as...
Metal Man is just weak from the Metal Blade? What? That makes no sense. Whatever. I thought it was the boomerang thingy. I don't know.
As last time, thanks to E-Tanks and Metal Blades. Seriously, was this on purpose? It had to be.
Probably.
Wily manages to escape underground with Mega Man hot on his tail. After a rather creepy run through an empty chamber with no music, Mega Man catches up with Wily, who... what? Either that's another robot, or Dr. Wily was a goddamn space alien the entire time.
Who knows?
Turns out, with enough shots of bubble lead, it was merely a hologram of Wily, which, I'll admit, I found pretty funny when I first encountered this boss. Once more, Wily claims that he's not worthy of Mega Man, and Mega Man once again just leaves. Why does he keep doing that?
Yeah.
Also, does anyone else notice this is the second time we defeated Dr. Wily with a great color scheme? I have to ask though, what exactly is he doing in this ending sequence? Am I to believe that he's taking a year-long hike across the seasons? Surely there's other ways to spend your time, not to mention the accompanying musical piece that makes this seem somber as fuck. But what's going on here? Is Mega Man sad that he didn't arrest Dr. Wily? Does he feel alone in his crusade against evil? Well, just a few seconds later, the cheerful, optimistic credits theme takes over, so I'm assuming the developers didn't want me to think too hard on that subject. Still though, I think I'm missing something here. I think it's pretty obvious at this point, but this is something I can classify as a fun game. Now, just to remind you guys, I didn't grow up with the classic series. In fact, I didn't play Mega Man 2 until the late 2000s when I finally began experimenting with some of the classic games. But even though I arrived at the game so late, the amount of fun I had playing it was a testament to how well designed it was. Yeah, the problems I mentioned earlier were things that could have been handled better, but as a whole, Mega Man 2 is a blast. The developers made this on their free time. There was an ambition when this game was made, and I think it shows. Not only does it do a much better job than Mega Man 1 in just about every way possible, but it's also the best-selling Mega Man game of all time. You want to start playing classic Mega Man games? You start here. Over 20 years later, and the game is still very fun to play. We're 2 games into the series, and we've already hit what many consider to be the high point of the series. Now, usually that's not a good sign, but who knows? With the games we have left to review, we may find another one that's just as fun, if not better, than the likes of Mega Man 2. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time with Mega Man 3 for the NES and Mega Man The Wily Wars for the Sega Genesis. See you guys next time.
But anywho, let's actually watch it a little bit. I only have a couple times left. But let's actually watch it another one, Mega Man 3 and the Wily Wars. Wily Wars was actually legit only in the European and Japanese copied. Apparently they're gonna be there's a ROM hack you can actually get in the English version, but I don't think so. But let's actually watch another one. Let's actually watch Mega Man 3 and the Wily Wars.
So Mega Man 2 was both a critically acclaimed title and a financial success. All that extra work and dedication ended up really paying off, and now Capcom had a successful franchise in their hands. It's only logical to think that the development of the next game in the series wouldn't be as stress-inducing as the last one, especially now that Capcom could see the potential the Mega Man franchise could unleash. Well, according to Keiji Inafune himself, Mega Man 3 ended up being one of the most stressful Mega Man games he's ever created. Deadlines not being met, a new designer not exactly understand what made Mega Man fun to begin with, it just doesn't seem like a pleasant time overall. Despite the game not quite being completed according to the developers, Mega Man 3 was released for the NES in 1990. Well, shit, I mean, with the success of the last game, you would think the developers would have all the time and resources they could possibly need to produce a really good title, but the game was released, and until this review, I never actually fully completed it, so I'm curious to see where...
Someone's calling. Who's that? Oh shit, it's Clement. Yes, this is actually my favorite YouTuber, the Great Clement. I'm gonna watch it, one of the videos. I'll actually think about it on my brain. I will actually think about it if I do a reaction of his Let's Play. But yeah, this is Clement. In Mega Man 1, I literally says there's actually a YouTuber named the Great Clement, but he actually legit my favorite YouTuber. I found him nowhere, but let's actually continue.
Aloha, Johnny. I really should have seen this coming. Hello, Clement. To what do I owe this visit?
Yeah.
Oh, not much. But I see that you've been reviewing Mega Man games lately.
Yeah.
And you didn't even invite me, the Mega Man guy.
Didn't you already Let's Play the entire classic series at this point in time?
Yes, I did. And now I'm going to review it with you.
You're crazy.
Says the man who's played Sonic 06 more than once for the internet.
You did a 3-hour review on it!
Oh, like your review was that much shorter.
This is getting us nowhere. You can join me this time, but be warned.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not a Mega Man enthusiast.
Oh, that's fine. Take it away.
It's time to look at Mega Man 3 for the NES.
And There's the second greatest title theme in all of classic Mega Man.
It is.
Second to Mega Man 2's, of course. But Mega Man 3's soundtrack isn't too shabby, and I wouldn't classify any of its music as forgettable. From Sparkman to that familiar whistle theme.
Who's that whistle?
I love this stuff. I don't care if I die over and over again at the same boss, just so long as I get to hear that boss theme roll one more time.
Before I played this for the review, I couldn't give you an opinion on Mega Man 3's music even if my life depended on it, but now I consider it to be pretty sweet stuff. I love Sparkman's theme especially. I don't think the entire soundtrack beats Mega Man 2 overall, but it's a damn fine attempt nonetheless.
By the way, isn't this cover great?
Well, I'm glad to see they're finally getting the anatomy of Mega Man right, but now we have another problem. That fucking face. It's like he's suffering from a severe allergic reaction.
Not to mention he's a dirty fighter. Mega Man just totally shot Sparkman in the dick. If I were Top Man, I'd be buying some protection right now. At least the European box art is fine.
Oh, Jesus, what the hell?
That's the stuff of nightmares, folks.
Shut up.
He's always watching. Speaking of him, I guess we should cover the story. Since Mega Man, once again, left Dr. Wily completely alone at the end of the last game, Dr. Wily has since seen the error of his ways and begins to help Dr. Light creating a giant peacekeeping robot named Gamma.
Wow.
Hey, it's just like the robot in Sonic Adventure 1. Oh, if I didn't make that joke, about 200 other people would.
8 robot masters in charge of mining power crystals suddenly start going haywire and begin causing problems for our little blue hero. And if that wasn't bad enough, there's also a new robot in town known as Breakman, who loves to interrupt what you're doing in certain levels to show off his fantastic jumping abilities.
This guy puts up no challenge whatsoever, so why is he here? Mega Man has 8 new robot masters to put in their place, complete with new level designs, new challenges to conquer, and less sprite flickering, though that still happens sometimes. Accompanying Mega Man this time is his new robotic canine companion, Rush, who comes in 3 different flavors, all which you unlock when you defeat certain robot masters. I'm not exactly sure on this, but I think Rush might be named after the rock band itself, which would continue the whole music theming the series is known for, but again, I'm not sure.
Rush is much better than the flat gadgets like Item 1 or Item 2. Who doesn't like Rush? What kid playing Mega Man didn't want a robot dog who could fly in the sky?
I think the item tools you got in Mega Man 2 were fine enough, but Rush is simply awesome, especially Rush Jet. You gotta beat Needle Man first to get him, but look at this, you can bypass just about every platform challenge imaginable.
You can actually pass
this is awesome. Please tell me this becomes a staple in the series.
Well, yeah. But,
yeah, fuck you, invisible blocks.
Yeah, let him find out. He doesn't need to know right now.
Well, he will.
Mega Man has also seen a new upgrade. No, he still can't shoot in multiple directions, but now he has a new slide maneuver, which is damn essential if you plan on avoiding some of the more tricky robots you'll encounter at some stages.
The nickname might be Jump and Shoot Man, but the slide really became a great part of the character. It helps you move through levels slightly faster, adds more variety to boss strategies, and it's fun to do in a low hallway. All of a sudden, Mega Man acts like he's in a water slide. If he has nowhere to stand, he just keeps on sliding. Look at him go.
Energy tanks are back, and now you're able to carry up to 9 of them instead of 4. You even get to keep them if you manage to lose all of your lives, which is something that definitely would have made some of the more bullshit parts of Mega Man 2 a little more manageable.
Yeah.
The 8 levels managed to challenge Mega Man in new ways, especially with the new slide ability by his side, and there's been a noticeable increase in mini-bosses, giant snakeheads, robo-cats with lethal robotic ticks, okay?
What?
But despite that, I couldn't help but notice that a lot of these stages felt they were a bit on the short side. I'm not too sure on that, though. The new weapons are pretty cool to use, too. What do you think?
Magnet Missile's pretty great. It homes in on enemies like the parachute guys in Shadow Man stage, and it's fairly strong. The Search Snake is also fairly useful for grounded enemies and such. It's pretty cool that...
Hey, what the fuck? It's just passing by the little shit. Come on. What the hell?
Just wait until I jump and then shoot.
What's going on? I mean, they can just close their eyes and ignore projectiles? And why the hell does the top spin suck so much? I mean, yeah, if you aim it properly, you can...
I hate the top spinner. What is actually an ability is that? Just actually use the same thing as Airman, but this time there's like multiple Mega Man, like, whatever. The top spinner is useless. Well, they're gonna be... actually makes no fucking sense. But let's continue.
Take down Shadow Man with no problem, but I can't do damage unless I end up damaging myself. What kind of shit is that?
Yeah.
Other than that, Sparkman's weapon is okay, nothing special, you shoot a spark. Needleman's okay, you shoot a needle. Heartman's too slow for me. Gemini Laser, you leave yourself open if your shot misses, and I'm not big on that.
Yeah, me neither. You can't even pause the game when it's bouncing on the walls like that.
Well, at least you defeat him.
Well, that's the last Robot Master. Now what?
Doc Robots.
Doc who?
What?
What's this about?
Yeah.
Well, John, do you remember how you went through Shadow Man, Spark Man, Needle Man, and Gemini Man stages?
Yeah.
Well, now you get to do them again! Huh?
What?
Sure, the levels aren't exactly the same. Ooh, this time they added spikes to the walls of Shadow Man stage. This is totally worth replaying. In each revisit, you have to face Doc Robot a total of 2 times for each stage, making that a grand total of 8 encounters.
Wait, what?
Is that Airman?
Yeah.
Yep. Doc Robot also copies the movesets of all the Robot Masters from Mega Man 2.
Dang.
And it's up to you to figure out what their new weakness is, if they don't have any of your old weapons from the last game.
Nope.
Or, you know, you could just die.
I'm pretty sure I'll just respawn right next to them. I'm at the beginning of the stage?
What?
What the fuck?
Yeah, Doc Robot stages are pretty lacking in the checkpoint department. You get one after you defeat the first Doc Robot, but I seriously...
That is actually literally like bullshit. Like, anything you can actually go to the checkpoint, well, except for one YouTuber I'm gonna react it to, and it actually is my favorite YouTuber, and you'll probably know in the future, or I'll actually think about it if I do another reaction, but wait for until.
hope you have the energy tanks to spare if you don't want to run across the entire stage again if you lose to the second Doc Robot encounter.
Not to mention, Doc Robot is a lot harder to avoid than the original Robot Masters. It's almost impossible to judge when he's going to throw the leaf show when he's copying Woodman, and a robot of his size should not have the speed of Quickman. It's good to see that Mega Man 3 isn't as short as the likes of Mega Man 2 or 1, but I don't think this was the right way to extend gameplay time.
And look, the Mega Man 2 Robot Masters were great, but now I have to learn an entirely new weakness chain. See, I don't have Airman's weapon anymore, so what's Crash Man weak to now? Is it Search Snake? Magnet Missile? It's more memorization for bosses who won't return in the final area of the game. This part just wasn't necessary at all.
There you go.
There we go. Did I beat the game?
Nope. You still got Breakman to deal with.
What is he doing
What's
here?
this guy's deal?
Yeah.
He's doing the exact same shit as previous encounters. Why is he here? It's almost like he's a distraction.
He gets! While you were busy fighting Breakman, Dr. Wily snuck off with Gamma.
Really? They misspell it? Wily. Now Wily and now to Wily. Oh my goodness. Hey, at least it actually mistranslated with Dr. Y into Dr. Right? Who knows?
I really should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
In addition to Doc Robot stages, now I gotta deal with Wily Fortress stages.
Fuck.
Fantastic.
Don't worry about the Wily levels, John.
Why is that?
Just keep playing. You'll see.
Wow, Wily sure is feeling generous with the pickups and level design. Rush Jet allows me to completely ignore stage hazards and the like.
I mean, I like the normal way.
Just giving me energy tanks. I guess the developers are feeling pretty bad about the whole Doc. Fucking Yellow Devil! You lied to me, asshole!
Stop being a crybaby. You don't have a pause glitch anymore, but it doesn't matter. This is Mega Man 3. You have tons of energy tanks, and this boss moves much slower than he did in the first game.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
I didn't get in trouble for him. I only get one energy tank, and that's
This is
it.
by far the easiest final castle in any Mega Man game. Some levels go by really quickly, and I'd say you don't need the 6 or so energy tanks this castle generously gives you. In the first boss fight, you have to dodge a very slow turtle underwater while currents push you around.
Not hurt you.
Push you. Oh man, watch out for that very slow small turtle. This is no Mecha Dragon.
It looks so
the bosses
fucking
are pretty simple,
goddamn
the levels
ridiculous.
are really short. But hey, at least there's no turret boss. I hated the turret boss in Mega Man 2.
At last, Dr. Wily, which thanks to
Wily,
Russia is a
not
total
Wily.
pushover. You know, I'm beginning to think this is the result of the incomplete development cycle. Dr. Wily falls, and son of a bitch, a fake.
Motherfucker.
Which doesn't really mean much, because after one last healthy helping of E-tanks and weapon energy, seriously? You fight the real thing, now inside the body of Gamma.
Holy shit, look at the size of this thing. I don't even begin to approach something like this.
Yeah.
And you'll never believe what his weakness is.
What weakness? Huh?
The top spin is his weakness?
Yeah.
I don't get it either.
But why?
Makes no
Look,
fucking sense.
Dr. Wily is begging for forgiveness again. Please forgive me.
Shut up, Wily.
Unfortunately, the place begins to collapse.
You already
around
give
the two
up
with a piece of
like
debris knocking
twice.
out your
Now you're
out,
gonna
as
give
well
up
as Wily.
3 times.
A shadowy figure looking very much like Breakman suddenly appears and manages to rescue Mega Man from the collapsing building, leaving Wily completely in the dust. Oh boy.
Mega Man soon wakes up in Dr. Light's lab, where Light tells our hero that Breakman's distinctive whistle sounds an awful lot like another robot he built, known as Proto Man. And sure enough, during the credits, we see that Breakman was actually Proto Man, a prototype robot designed by Dr. Light and the brother of Mega Man. Oh, and in Japan, Proto Man is actually known as Blues. Because music reference.
Okay, so what now?
Yeah.
Well, clearly the day is saved. Now they can go get some Taco Bell and call it a day.
Oh, fuck, look, there's Wily's ship.
Yeah.
That can only mean another game. Dr. Wily, I guess out of anger from his latest defeat, decides to build a time machine to travel back to the past and fix the mistakes he once made. Hence, Mega Man, the Wily Wars.
Wait, is that an American copy of Wily Wars?
Yeah.
Yes it is.
Well, being a Mega Man nerd, I know this is bullshit because Wily Wars only got a European and a Japanese physical release.
Oh, well, I managed to snag this at a video game convention. I guess it was custom made.
Oh, I see. It's a bootleg. You can't review a bootleg.
Well, as long as I have a Mega Drive now, do I? Besides, how did you Let's Play the game on your Let's Play channel, huh?
Dang.
You win this round, John.
Ha! That makes 2. Classic City Escape, and now this.
Oh, you're still proud of City Escape? Gee, I seem to remember that I destroyed every other record of yours in that game. And I...
Sorry, can't hear you. Plug the game in.
Dang.
This won't be very long. Mega Man The Wily Wars is pretty much a remake of the first 3 Mega Man titles for the Sega
it's not a
Genesis.
remake, it's just
like Clement established earlier, it only saw a physical release in Japan and Europe. The only way Americans could play it was through the Sega Channel, an add-on for both your Sega Genesis and cable box.
Wow.
It was a subscription service that allowed consumers to download games, learn some tips and tricks, and other things that a kid could enjoy, while their parents were stuck with a monthly bill. Mega Man The Wily Wars was one of those games you can download, and to this day, has not seen another means of purchase for American gamers. Now you understand why I have no problem using this glorified bootleg as a means to look at it. Think of it like Super Mario All-Stars, only with Mega Man. Each game was given a 16-bit upgrade in terms of graphics and sound, and it also came equipped with a save feature, so you no longer have to rely on passwords for the likes of Mega Man 2 and 3, or worry about completing Mega Man 1 in a single sitting.
Mega Man The Wily Wars is probably not the ideal way of playing the original trilogy. The game has a few issues that some fans might not appreciate. The 8-bit music has been updated with Sega Genesis instruments, and I feel most songs are inferior to the original, but I do love me some Top Man. Mega Man 2 doesn't have an easier difficulty. You can only play the game in what we know as difficult mode, meaning Metal Man will not be killed in 1 hit by the Metal Blade. Now it's 2 hits. Oh, God!
The horror. The game has slowdown issues when too many things are happening on screen. Look at the fight with the Yellow Devil in Mega Man 1, for example. Granted, that's not necessarily a bad thing in my books in this case, but I know slowdown isn't exactly appealing or nice to look at for some.
The game slows down a lot from my experience, and it makes certain fights feel really easy or awkward to handle. But all this being said, though, I do think it's worth checking out. If you ever wanted to see the original trilogy in 16-bit, there are worse ports. This isn't like it's Mega Man X on iOS.
Don't remind me.
And of course, there's Wily Tower, which opens up once you complete all 3 Mega Man games in 1 save file. One of the coolest modes ever, where you get to mix and match every weapon and special item from the past 3 games.
Holy shit, the unthinkable combinations. Access to both the Rush Jet and the Magnet Beam? God damn. Wily Tower isn't very long, and depending on what weapons you bring, can be painfully easy. With the right weapon and tool combinations, you can probably beat this mode in about 30 minutes flat.
I've always loved the idea of having over 18 powers at my disposal, as well as the magnet beam, items, and rush abilities. You can experiment so many weapons on the bosses who have numerous weaknesses to account for those powers, and the soundtrack is great! Wily Forest theme might be the most underrated Wily theme in the whole entire series, but that's probably because most Mega Man fans haven't played this game. I would love to play a Mega Man game that tried to be more like Wily Tower. It's the best mode and the best way to end a playthrough of all 3 games. The Wily Wars isn't perfect, but if you're a Mega Man fan, it's definitely worth checking out.
I agree. I would love to see a Mega Man game much like Wily Tower, where you have access to so many weapons and options to complete a stage. Mega Man The Wily Wars may not be the end-all, be-all method of playing the original 3 Mega Man games, but it's something hardcore Mega Man fans should definitely consider adding to their collection.
Wily.
Back to Mega Man 3, with the exception of the Doc Robot segments, I had a really good time playing this one. The addition of Rush and the slide ability really makes this game feel like more than just an average sequel. As a matter of fact, I consider this to be right up there with the likes of Mega Man 2. I may not enjoy the whole Doc Robot element, but I don't feel that's enough to bring the entire game down. Well-designed levels, fun to use power-ups and abilities, this is a game I feel any fan of run-and-gun platformers should play.
Mega Man 3 is a very memorable Mega Man game. It introduced the Slide, Mega Man's faithful companion Rush, and the mysterious Proto Man. I think the soundtrack is great, and I love the Robot Masters, even if I don't think all the weapons are that great. The game is still challenging, but never unfair, and I generally like it. The only thing that holds it back for me are the Doc Robot stages. I have had tons of playthroughs where I would beat the first 8 Robot Masters, then put in a password to skip to Wily's castle. But other than those 4 levels, and Wily forgetting to put away his E-tanks when you visit his castle, it's a good game. I can see why many consider it the best in the series. Not my favorite, or even in my top 3, but I like it a lot.
Wow, that last bit felt a bit redundant, but I am glad I was able to experience this game. And Clement, thank you.
Oh, dang.
Motherfucker! I'll see you guys from Mega Man 4 and 5. Oh, you will rue the day you defeated me.
No, you're not.
Johnny. I will have my revenge. I'll be back. You'll see.
Yeah, that was a bad idea. Yeah, that was a bad idea to laugh at. But anywho, that was actually it. Thank you for watching. Go subscribe to those 2 YouTubers, Some Call Me Johnny, right here, or go to the Clement. It's in, I think, yeah, you can see in the link to the description over there in Some Call Me Johnny. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Bye.